Guys, I'm Tiana. I'm one of the junior high facilitators, and I'm here to talk to you guys about how I've been living it out, how I've been living it out this week, and coming from a dysfunctional and a broken, family relationship. When I was younger, my dad was in my life, and then he left, and then we reconciled again after 12 years. So for the past 2 years, we've been really getting to know each other more and having more conversation, and I've been visiting him a lot and everything like that. But recently, like on Sunday, we had a really big argument, and it all happened because my dad asked me to do something that I didn't want to do, and I didn't feel like I had to do. So then I talked to my older sister about it, and when I talked to my older sister, who also came from this same broken family relationship, especially with my dad, we kind of went back and forth about our hurts and our pains and all these different things like that. And even though I said I forgave my dad, when my sister brought up different things, I kind of we just went back and forth. And so by the time I had the conversation with my dad, that night, I was already so angry. I was already so over the conversation. I responded to him horribly. I had a bad attitude. I just didn't show anything. I literally just had a horrible attitude. So then my dad picked up on it, and then he's having a bad attitude. So we're going back and forth, and in my mind, I'm like, you see, this is why, I just keep thinking our relationship isn't gonna get better or whatever. And I was thinking all these horrible things, and then my dad felt bad, and I didn't feel bad. And he said, I'm sorry, I love you, have a good night. And I was like, have a good night. I was just upset. So I woke up the next morning, and I was still upset, but the Lord really showed me how I did not respond to my dad with love. I did not respond to him as Jesus would respond to him. I actually criticized my dad's walk with the Lord, and my dad is Christian, and I criticized his walk with the Lord because I felt like it didn't line up to what I think it should be. And I was really angry. And then even in that, when the Lord was speaking to me about it, I just still felt like, oh my gosh. And then, so my dad texted me again, and he's like, I love you, and nothing could ever separate us from each other. And I was like, I love you too. I still had this anger because I had taken on offense. I had taken on so much offense. And out of that offense, I responded horribly. I didn't respond any type of way. I didn't. If you would have read my conversation with my dad, you would never think that I have a walk with the Lord. I didn't curse at him. I didn't do any of that. But I just had a really bad attitude, and I wasn't loving. And I had to realize that, I felt like if I brought everything to the forefront, then it would make him want to change or make him change. I tried to change my dad, and it's not my job to change my dad. I was just supposed to pray for my dad. And I could have just left the conversation as it was. I didn't have to keep on going. And then on top of that, I was going back and forth with my sister. So if my dad would say something, I would tell my older sister about it. We're very close. So we're my sister and I are having a side conversation, and then I'm having a conversation with my dad. So it was like I was taking on so many offenses and so much hurt and anger and talking to my dad out of that. And I didn't respect my dad at all. And despite what the broken relationship looked like, I'm still supposed to honor my parents. I'm still supposed to honor my dad. I'm still supposed to show the love of Christ to my dad. I'm still supposed to speak to him in love and in kindness. And I can't say I love my dad and not be patient with him and not be kind towards him and not, cover his sins and show him grace. So it wasn't the perfect thing for me to do. It's definitely something that I don't really ever want to do again. But the offense was there, and now I'm just really praying, and I've been praying that God would take away the offense. So my message and my encouragement to you guys is just, even if you come from a broken family and there are so many different hurts and pains, just give those things to the Lord and to really walk in forgiveness and to be careful with the conversations that you have. I was saying I forgave my dad, and then in one part of the conversation, I was showing no sort of forgiveness. So, yeah, I hope you guys are encouraged by this, and see you later.
Hey guys, my name is Krista, and I'm one of the high school workers, and I work with the high school worship team. And today I'm going to talk about last week's lesson on family dysfunction and hope in God, and how that applies to my own family. So for myself, I grew up with both the mom and dad that were Christian, and that wasn't really the same case for my parents. They both, grew up without a dad. They lost their dad at a really young age, and they didn't really know God until in their late 20s. They chose to give their life to Christ, and when they did that, God really took a hold of, their situation, and he gave them restoration. And that, because of that choice, like, God restored what was lost in their past, like losing a father at a young age. And even with that happening, growing up in a single mom home and being in that situation, like, he took those broken pieces and he made them whole. And now I think my parents have been married for about 29 years by God's grace, and they gave me and my brother, a home, and they always were there for us, and we've always had a good relationship with them. And that all goes back, to their choice of surrendering their life to God. And when they did that, like, God really gave them a hope and a future. And if he can do that with my family, like, he can definitely do that with your family as well. And if you're in a situation right now where it seems hopeless with your own family, or it may not be making sense, but just like the passage that was shared on Sunday about how Lazarus was raised from the dead, like, that is something I think is, like, really powerful, because that also applies to where both my, mom and dad came from. Like, they had a physical loss, but God gave them hope, and that's the same thing for you. Like, in this situation that you may be going through, whatever, if it's difficult, like, he can give you that same hope. And just like he did with, Mary and Martha, like, that story, like, that, that's still relevant till now. Like, he can work in your family situation, and what might seem like a hopeless case or even dead, like, he can resurrect that and give that situation new life. So just wanted to encourage you to just have hope in him, and he's in control even when, things don't necessarily make sense, and it's going to be, all in his timing. And just know that, he's our hope, just like what we learned on Sunday.